Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Weekly Dose of Wellness with me, Amber Stewart, aka Jenny Jaguar, owner of the Stew Project, an online wellness business where I help people maximize their living potential by simply taking an emphasis on wellness. So glad you're here today because today's message is one I know some of y'all desperately need to hear. Because maybe you're suffering from burnout, but still forcing yourself to push through every day. Maybe your body's been giving you warning signs such as chronic tension, exhaustion, insomnia, but you haven't made the shift in your habits yet to see relief. Or maybe you're stuck in a loop, ruminating over a past situation, clinging to resentment, or even chasing retribution, when deep down, you know it's time to let go and move forward. I get it. I've been there. And if you've been with me since the beginning of my channel, then you probably remember me talking about this. But I actually started my coaching business right before the pandemic, in the middle of what I now recognize as one of the most intense seasons of my life. I had just come out of an 18-month stretch of high-functioning depression that was triggered by chronic stress from both work and my personal life. Everything was just a clusterfuck at that time, I'm not gonna lie. But I overcame it holistically through nutrition, movement, nervous system support, and daily mindset shifts. But here's the catch. I did it all while still working a high stress job. So naturally, when I began coaching, all I wanted to do was help people like me. Busy professionals silently struggling with depression, anxiety, and burnout who didn't want to quit their jobs or become monks just to feel better. And for many years, that was my mission. I created tools, courses, and coaching programs to manage chronic stress and emotional exhaustion using movement, nutrition, and nervous system regulation because that's what I had to do to heal myself. But over time, I evolved. I no longer live in survival mode, and I'm no longer navigating high-functioning depression or debilitating anxiety. I stepped into a new season, one of clarity, creativity, and alignment. And I had to honor that shift, not just as a coach, but as a human being. And that is exactly what I want to talk about today, because the version of you that built your coping skills isn't always the version of you that's meant to carry them forward. You have to learn to recognize your season mentally, physically, and emotionally so you can shift when it's time and rest when it's necessary. Because here's the truth. Not all seasons are meant for pushing. Your body, mind, and energy all move in cycles. And the real magic happens when you learn to honor the season you're actually in, not the one you think you should be in. So let's talk about it. Now, we often talk about balance in wellness, but balance isn't static. It shifts with the season you're in. So just like nature, we move through internal seasons, such as a season of growth when you feel energized and inspired to go all in. A season of healing where stillness, softness, and tending to old wounds is the priority. There's also a season of rest where your mind and body need to pause, retreat, and restore. And then there's the season of fighting, where you're standing up for yourself or pushing through hard change. And lastly, there is a season of reinvention, when you're shedding old identities and stepping into a new version of yourself. The problem is that we often confuse the season we're in and push ourselves into the wrong kind of action, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So let's take this a step further and look at how this shows up across the different dimensions of your life, because your season might not be the same in every area. You can be thriving physically but struggling emotionally. You might feel sharp mentally but still be in a season of deep rest. It's all connected, but also layered. There's layers to this. All right, so starting with mental seasons. Mentally, you might find yourself in a season of clarity and growth. This is when your thoughts feel sharp, ideas are flowing, and you're naturally drawn to structure, problem solving, or building something new. This is your time to lean in. This is when you're meant to create, organize, and execute. You have the bandwidth for it, so don't shy away from your assignment. But even in this season, clarity doesn't mean immunity. You might feel called to move forward, but allow outside noise, such as people pleasing, overcommitting, or waiting for permission to pull you off track. Maybe you're supposed to be launching that business, applying for the next level job, or stepping into a leadership role, but you're shrinking back because someone else is uncomfortable with your momentum. Now that's how people get stuck even in their season of growth, by letting resistance dressed as responsibility block their expansion. On the flip side, you may be in a season of mental rest and recalibration. And many people mistaken this for laziness or lack of ambition. You may feel scattered, foggy, or easily overwhelmed. Even small decisions feel heavy. That's not failure. That's your mind asking for stillness. This is even your season of rest or healing, which is an invitation to disconnect from overstimulation and allow clarity to regenerate. It is also time to set boundaries and enforce them. Now, spiritually, this can be one of the most sacred moments to be in, because when the logic fades and the mental noise quiets, even if it feels disorienting at first, it creates space for your intuition to speak louder than your thoughts. This is when deeper truths surface. This is when you're guided by internal knowing instead of external pressure. I personally like this season now because it forces me to lean into divine timing, trust my intuition more, ask better questions, and to receive answers I never would have found just by thinking harder. So if you try to push through this season as if you're in a building phase, you'll only deepen the exhaustion. You'll reach for structure but resent it. You'll try to create but constantly question yourself. Eventually you burn out, not because you're weak, but because you're ignoring your actual season. Now, physically, you might be in a season of strength and momentum. You're energized, workouts feel aligned, your recovery is smooth, and you're seeing progress toward your body goals. This is when your body is saying yes, so it's safe to challenge it and grow. But in this season, you still need boundaries, because sometimes people in this phase let hustle culture override intentionality. They overtrain, they restrict too hard, and they confuse being on a roll with being invincible. Eventually that backfires through injury, fatigue, or hormonal imbalance. On the other hand, you may be in a season of physical healing or recovery. Your body feels heavy, tense, or unresponsive. You're constantly tired or waking up unrested. Workouts feel more like a drain than a release. Your body's asking for rest and restoration, not punishment. And if you keep pushing through this healing season as if you're in peak performance mode, your body will rebel through inflammation, injury, metabolic slowdown, or chronic fatigue. And no discipline will fix that. Only intelligent rest will. Now, emotionally, you might be in a season of alignment and grounded clarity. You're emotionally regulated, your boundaries are holding, and you're moving through your life with confidence and purpose. This is your season of strength and embodiment. You're not reacting, you're responding, and you can trust yourself here. But even in this powerful emotional season, distractions creep in. You may feel stable, but people around you might not be. And if you're not mindful, you'll unconsciously shrink to keep the peace, or you'll try to rescue others from discomfort, pulling yourself out of alignment in the process. Maybe you're ready to walk away from old patterns or relationship, but guilt keeps you lingering. Maybe your emotional clarity is pushing you to speak up, but fear of conflict keeps you quiet. That's how people derail during a season of alignment, by making emotional peace a group project instead of a personal responsibility. Now, if you're not in that stable place, you might be experiencing a season of emotional transition, a time of grief, awakening, or uncertainty. It can feel like emotional quicksand. You're doing the inner work, but nothing feels steady. So this is a season of emotional healing and release. And the only way through is through. Now, I correlate this to like riding a stationary bike in a spin class. You can't run from your problems. You just have to keep pedaling until the class is over, okay? Because if you try to force high vibe positivity or high performance productivity while in this emotional season, it often results in emotional detachment, resistance, or even breakdown, because what you really need is space to feel and not pressure to perform. All right, so the main takeaway from all of this is when you honor your current season, you create the conditions for transformation to unfold naturally. But when you're not in your season, mentally, physically, or emotionally, you don't speed things up. You just suffer more on the way to the same lesson you're going to have to repeat. So how do you truly know what season you're in? It's not about checking a calendar or observing the weather outside. It's about cultivating a profound inner awareness, a process deeply rooted in mindfulness and holistic wellness. And this is where the journey inward begins. Because when you commit to truly listening to your body's subtle whispers, when you consciously tend to your energy levels, and when you embrace radical honesty about your fleeting thoughts and deep-seated emotions, that's when you begin to discern your season. It's a nuanced understanding that unfolds over time. You start to recognize the early warning signs when you're entering burnout. Those subtle shifts in your energy, focus, and mood that signal a need to pull back. You'll feel an undeniable pull when you're being called into a period of growth, a sense of inspiration, or a challenge that encourages expansion. And perhaps most importantly, you'll sense when you need rest, not because you're lazy or unmotivated, but because your very being is evolving on a cellular level, and deep levels of restoration is needed to integrate those experiences into the next step. It's not about idleness, but intelligent self-care. And this is why a pill or a quick fix will never truly solve what at its core is a misalignment between your inner season and the demands you're placing on yourself. You can numb the symptoms, sure, but you'll still be stuck in the same season, repeating the same cycles. True healing requires presence. It requires practice and requires patience with your process. To aid in this discernment, various practices act as invaluable compasses, offering clues to your current inner climate. Journaling provides a space for unfiltered reflection, allowing you to track patterns in your thoughts and feelings. Breathwork can shift your physiological state and bring you into a deeper connection with your body's wisdom. Intentional movement, whether it's gentle stretching or vigorous exercise, releases stagnant energy and heightens your body awareness. Thoughtful nutrition fuels your physical and mental well-being, directly impacting your vitality. Even spiritual rituals, whatever form they may be for you, can anchor you and provide a sense of purpose and connection. So the more consistently you engage with these practices and pay attention to the feedback they offer, the less likely you are to find yourself stuck trying to bloom in winter. You'll learn how to honor the natural cycles of your life, working with them rather than against them, and allowing yourself to flourish in alignment with your truest self. So, wellness, success, and even relationships aren't just about routines and checking off the boxes. It's about understanding the rhythm. It's knowing when to stay the course and when to shift with grace. So this week, I want you to reflect on your relationship with change. Are you resisting necessary shifts due to fear? Or are you abandoning efforts prematurely out of doubt or impatience? Now, true wellness transcends rigid routines. It embraces rhythm, understanding when to persevere and when to adapt gracefully. Now, I want to leave you with a little extra insight, so let's go ahead and pull a card from the Mind Info Oracle deck to help you reflect on your current season and your next best step. So let's dive in. All right, so we have 3 cards that came out. As you know, I always read the one at the bottom of the deck. And one of them actually came out in reverse. I'm gonna read it upright, but then I'm gonna try to interpret it as it reads in reverse. But the first card we have is Fresh Starts. Hope you can read it. Whatever. It says you're being given the opportunity to begin again. Allow yourself to embrace this new life and open up fully to this gift that you've been given. So maybe some of y'all are in a season of renewal, and maybe you are in the season of renewal and you possibly still feel stuck, as if you are in a season of where you have to hustle and stagnancy. And oftentimes when you're in that season of a fresh start after getting out of a season of stagnancy and turmoil, you may feel afraid to take that next step forward. It's like, wait, if I make this move where I've gotten plenty of no's, will I get a yes? And so it can feel uncomfortable, but this card is saying you have the opportunity. The ball is in your court. God is saying yes, so go. Now, the card that came in reverse is Pay Attention. I hope you can see that. Anyhow, it says pay attention, and it says you're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you've been given, or you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. So this came in reverse, so some of y'all may not be paying attention. So, okay, let me get hold on. I thought I had here's a lighter. Let me light fire under your butt. Bring your butt here. Bring your ass. I'll put some light of fire under it. All right, so the last card we have says change. It says you're being asked to change a part of yourself that no longer feels like the person you've become or are becoming. Change isn't always easy, but letting go of this outdated part of yourself will allow you to align with your true self. Ooh, how fitting this came out during this during today's video. So some of y'all are not paying attention to this fresh start you've been given, and you are allowing the uncomfortableness to keep you stuck and not change. So it's time to wake up, okay? It's time to get out of your comfort zone and start to make that shift. And the shift in your physical life can't happen unless you first start in your mind, because when it's first in your mind and then it goes up into your emotions, and then you take aligned action based off of your emotions and your thoughts. So it starts in your mind. Last card that is at the bottom of the deck is Comfort. And it says, how can you bring more comfort into your life? You can increase your comfort through tangible things, such as soft clothes and food, and intangible things such as thinking loving thoughts about yourself and inviting peace into your heart. So a lot of, maybe some people in this collective are avoiding change or avoiding this new opportunity because it is something completely new. You've never done it before, or maybe it's something you tried in the past and failed, and you don't want to go through, or you don't want to experience that discomfort of reaching for that goal again. And what the card at the bottom of the deck is saying, or at least from my interpretation, is that you need to find a way to find comfort in the discomfort. And this is one of the things I say in my spin class, is that certain times we do heals or we do certain intervals, I'm like, look, we about to get uncomfortable right now. And the purpose of this is to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because a lot of us have issues being uncomfortable. And so we're just like, oh no, I'm gonna stay where I'm at, because at least I'm not, this is a level of discomfort I'm used to, and not a level of discomfort. I don't know how much that discomfort gonna be, but it's not even, from what the cards are saying, it's not even gonna be uncomfortable. It's like, it's only uncomfortable because it's different. And we have to find that separation between change and discomfort. A lot of us correlate change with discomfort, but God is saying this is not the case. This is a good change. This is the change you want. You may not know exactly what is coming your way, because if you did, God is probably saying you will fuck it up. But, trust. That's why I said I like the uncertainty seasons, because it teaches you to trust your intuition more. And once you trust your intuition more, you like, you know what? I don't know what's coming, but I know I got it. I know I'm be aight. Okay. All right, so that's all I have for today. If you're ready to stop forcing what no longer fits and start living in alignment with the season you're actually in, then I have a few ways to support you right now, no matter where you are in your journey. First things first, I have my Mind Body Mastery course. This is my self-paced foundational course designed to help you regulate your nervous system, build aligned habits, and reconnect with your mind, body, and spirit without burnout or extremes. It's perfect if you want to go at your own pace and start making changes from the inside out and see a complete transformation in 8 weeks. Next, this is Stress Alchemy, which is my full course experience. This is my signature all-in-one transformational program that was on ice, that I took off ice. And so if you're ready to go deep, this course has all the bells and whistles: education, embodiment practices, strategic tools, and supportive container to help you fully reset your mindset, habits, energy, and your results for good. Think of this as your full recalibration without relapses. If you're not quite ready to dive in, try the mini version first. It's a self-paced teaser that introduces the core framework of Stress Alchemy, which is perfect for getting a feel for the work and tuning into your next right step. And if you decide to join the full coaching program, which starts September 1st on Labor Day, you'll receive credit for the tuition of my full Stress Alchemy course. Now, I repeat, mark your calendars for September 1st, Labor Day, because this is so much more than a wellness program. Stress Alchemy is a full mind, body, soul recalibration for high achievers who are ready to break free from burnout and finally live a life that feels like freedom. Not even burnout, but just unalignment. And so I have some bonus options for you. Like I said, option 1, you can try the mini course and get credit. But then there's also 2, you can early bird sign up for Stress Alchemy and get $200 off the first month, as well as a free one-on-one alignment session, which is valued at $275, as well as a free copy of the mini Stress Alchemy course to get a head start. Now, this is your opportunity to choose transformation in a way that feels intentional, not overwhelming. The season of pushing is over. Now it's time to align. So click the link below in the description box to explore the options and to find what feels right for you. And if this message resonated, share it with someone who needs a reminder that growth begins with honoring where you are. So until next time, take care of yourself and trust the timing of your season. I hope this helps.